This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politics.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey,
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's
He is like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana politics. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
Shut him up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. It's great to be here with you. Actually, it really sucks, and I hate it because we're supposed to not be here today. Dude, all I said was don't do anything stupid. Just let me wake up and have a day off. That's all I wanted. I did not ask for too much. Pay Dustin Clark whatever obscene amount of money you want to pay him. Have some kind of meeting behind closed doors. Put up some kind of stupid resolution. Hell, the sheriff's department down in Henry County, they could have wrecked into people, killed some people over in some different counties, beat somebody in, said some racial thing to some person of color or something. Stuff we could have covered on Sunday. It wouldn't have been hard. Something could have happened. Somebody could have let me know, hey, this happened. I would have been like, oh my, no, government acting corrupt? That's crazy. Well, we'll cover it on Sunday. I could have had a wonderful night off. I could have been fishing right now, catching big fish. I could have been out shooting. Good Lord. I haven't even had a chance to fire this new baby off yet, okay? I just wanted tonight. I didn't want one day off this week. I wanted 2 days off. I wanted a Friday and a Saturday. I don't know that I've had I don't know that I've had 2 days off in a row. I'll have to go back and look. It's been a minute. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not griping at you. I'm griping at them. Them. You know who them are, right? Well, I'm happy to be here. Look, folks, I love it. I love what we do here. It's fun. It's great. I enjoy it. It's crazy. I can't believe it. I almost knew it. I almost knew that we would be here tonight. So I'm all alone. No Kate. Kate is off doing the family thing. It's Niles' birthday. Happy birthday to Niles. Because they're not here, we're not going to do the regular birthday thing. What I will do is I'll actually wait until Sunday when Kate is here live with us. And Niles, when a lot of you guys don't know, when producer Kate is sitting there at the computer and doing the show, Niles is sitting off to her left and is there, and he gives he's given some input from time to time, and sometimes she'll actually push the camera over his way and let him be seen, but he's always there. So I'm not going to do our special birthday present tonight. I'll wait until Sunday. It will be a belated birthday wish, but we'll do that because I want them to be able to hear it, because I know how much Kate loves it. And I don't know. I know that Niles has to have seen it. So yeah, we're here alone tonight. So I'm functioning alone. Now listen, I do have everything ready to rock and roll. So we are in good order. And ladies and gentlemen, the show that we're talking about tonight, it's Muncie flipped the script. Who's in charge here? Who's in charge here? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. Who is in charge here, there, anywhere? Who's standing there in their underwear? Whatever. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this too much, if you would smash that like button, do these things right here. Smash the like button. Click the bell so you get notified when we're live. You get all of the notifications. Communicate with us over here on the right-hand side. We'd absolutely love to see that you're here with us, enjoying this episode. either live or via replay. Either way, we love to hear from you. And then above all else, share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. That is what helps us more than anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the deal. If you want to communicate with us, you can do that by any of these amazing things down here below. We've got our phone number. We've got my personal email and then the show email. And we can be found here. I used to know this stuff in the other studio because I was there so long. But in this new environment, I forget where things are on the screen. So right here is where you want to check these things out. There's where we can be found, along with all of the many different podcast hosting platforms. So you can share all of that information, help share the show. That would be very, very helpful to us. So yeah, your comments haven't been going up on the screen. That's my fault because Kate's not here. I don't generally do that as well. I apologize. Let's see who we have here. Paula's here. Admiral's here. Good evening, everyone. Come in and like. Yeah, I like that. Hit that like button. Hit that like. Good evening. This Muncie mayoral ever-changing story is better than any drama broadcast on TV tonight. Yeah. I don't know that it's better. It's definitely more, I think it might be like a whodunit. It's kind of like a murder mystery without the murder. Sometimes if it makes you feel like you want to do murder, I understand. Figuratively, I'm speaking. No one's going to get hurt. Paula agrees. Michelle's here. Die Eisen Eine. No, what did Kate say? It's not die, it's D. Die Eisen Eine, which means the iron Eine. Welcome to those people. It's weird that Dan isn't appointing the president of city council. I thought Indiana Code 36458 required it when there wasn't a deputy mayor, and the mayor is expected to be gone longer than 15 days. Jeez. And he can't just appoint any city official. It has to be a member of the city legislative body, city council. The law is very direct in the requirements and court filings that are involved. We'll talk about that. I'll explain to you why they are using a loophole to get around this, and I will explain it. It's kind of interesting. We'll get to it in a moment. He can't just appoint an official. Yes. The situation is absolutely nuts. Yes. Good evening. Alva says, hey, you called me right in the middle of total insanity today. So that was my bad, Alva. I normally don't side button people. I hate when I have to side button people. But I forgot to put my phone on vibrate as I walked in, and I was having it back and forth, and you called and I had to side button you. So that's my bad. I'm sure you were calling about this stuff going on. If we don't address your concerns this evening, I can give you a call tomorrow, or you can call me back and I'll be able to get you. So hello, Glenda. Thank you for being here. Clerical error, my ass. The people need me. I don't know how much about that is, but we'll see. John Wargo. Hello, John. Chris Bunner is here. Karen Brubaker, hello. Something fishy's going on, Wayne Scaife says. And dude, I wish we had it. I wish we had it. Kate's the one that normally puts it up that says Wayne Scaife for everything, but we don't have that. I'll just say it, Wayne Scaife for everything. I would gladly vote for that. Push those buttons, support that idea. Hey, Wayne Scaife for acting mayor. If he can put Jeff Howe in charge, we can definitely quickly undo that and put Wayne Scaife in. I would be fine with Wayne Scaife as being acting mayor for the next 15 to ... days, you know. Need votes on Mondays. John Wargo says needs votes on Monday. Yeah. Alva says, I knew shit was going down. That's absolutely true. Okay, so hey, let's just go ahead and get into it. Listen, I actually, today was big enough that I didn't want to leave it to an email. I didn't want to email them, and I didn't want to say, like, hey, please give me the records when you feel like getting around to it. So, oh no, I got my butt in my car and I drove up to City Hall and I demanded the records and I got them right in my hand on a Friday. And let me tell you, folks, it was bizarre because not only was it a Friday after lunch, crazy that I was able to pull this off, getting these records on a Friday after lunch when they had announced something just absolutely nuts was going on. Okay. But, it's crazy that I was able to pull this off because something else was going on today. And I'm surprised anybody was even there. Was anyone really even there? What am I talking about? Well, today, the Delaware County Republican Party held their annual elephant golf outing. Yeah, you heard that right. While we have all of this chaos and craziness going on, getting ready to go on, instead of doing the things that we need to do, we've got our elected officials off playing a little bit of golf down at Crestview Golf Course. Thank you to everyone who helped plan and to those who participated in our annual Elephant Open. Your support is much appreciated. We're already looking forward to next year's event. Look, everybody looks so happy. We've got Ben Freeman, who is just a cardboard of a human being. I mean, he is so monotone, and I'm surprised they even got him to smile here. Like, I'm almost certain that someone back behind him is pulling his lips back, the corners of his mouth, and they have AI'd that person out because he is just such a wet blanket individual. With Mayor Ridenour, and here we have Joanna Boyce, who is the secretary. We have one of the major Dan addicts right here, Lindsay Creep or Fink or something like that. We have the mayor's secretary right over here. My head is in the way. Let me get my head out of the way. You'll be able to see it here. Oops, what have I done here? I don't even know what I'm doing. Kate should be here. Then we have, and this is amazing. And this picture is truly amazing. We have the chairman, the party chairman, and you can tell it's the party chairman because he's drooling over Micah Beckwith. We have Micah Beckwith here. All right. And it's like they can't get enough of him. He is so cool. And I think that's why Tim's actually having to hide himself behind the trophy. If you want to be perfectly honest, I think that he's a little excited. And so that's just gross to me. Let's take a look at here what we've got more of. Okay. We've got, oh God. Just so much weirdness in one photo. We've got Ed Carroll. I don't know who. It's been a minute. Is that? That's not Ron McShirley. I don't know who the guy on the right of Beckwith is. How much weight is Beckwith gaining? Beckwith, buddy, it's not doing well. So look, politics doesn't do good to you. Look, hey, Beckwith's going to be looking like me before it's over with. McShirley is here. Ridenour's here. Amber Green is doing what Amber Green does. Let's see here. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, look at this. Oh, look, Diego. And Diego is not on his tiptoes here. Dude, why is Beckwith and Diego... Beckwith apparently didn't get the memo that everybody is abandoning Diego. This is a funky photo here with all these people. They're all secretly AIing Diego out, while Beckwith is AIing everybody except Diego out. It's so weird. Okay. Let's see here. God, why is he in every picture? This is supposed to be the Delaware County Republican Party, and the only person that they have focused on has been Micah. I don't understand. Why is Micah the only person that's like being the focal front of these pictures? That's so weird. Who took these photos? Okay. Got a little Scott Alexander. Dude, this is just... why are they all so weird? What is the deal? Here's Andy Gibb. Andy Gibb from the brothers Gibb made an appearance today. Oh no, sorry, that's Sherry Ridenour. Diego's telling them how hard he's worked at screwing up his office. Oh, God. Oh, God. He's still talking. Still talking. Politics has been very, very good. God. Now, what? God, I wish Kate was here. Did they clone Amber? What do we have going on here? What is this? What is happening here? Is this Amber and Amber Light? Oh my God. That is Judy Calhoun. Judge Judy. Oh, God. Okay, on to the next picture. God. Okay. Mario's here. Where's Luigi at? You know who Josh reminds me of? Josh reminds me of, well, Mario. It's me, Mario. He reminds me of that guy that was the meme for a while that always wore the tan pants that had the great big butt. Do you know what I'm talking about? You guys know who I'm talking about? Not enough time to look for it. We'll look for it one of these days. We've got real content we got to get to. Oh, God. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, sorry. Holy crap, it wasn't catching up. This must be the selfie cam. Oh, and we're back to this. real conservatives would be banning those idiots from their events. Real conservatives wouldn't be golfing on a Friday. They would be working. This is the thing that has pissed me off with political events like this forever, my entire life. It is insane that they are always on a Friday. Or I'll tell you the ones that are really gross are the golf outings that are on Mondays. There's been a couple of those I've attended. Who in the hell wants to attend a golf outing on a Monday? Oh, God. All right, so enough of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm surprised, because look, the communications director was at this golf outing. Shireen Wegley was out the golf outing. How was work getting done today? How did they actually get the press release out about this big shakeup that we're going to be talking about? They were at a golf outing. You know what I mean? That's real shocking to me that they were able to pull that off. I'm rather surprised. All right. Well, that aside, the reason I'm shocked is because some pretty big news happened today. And that is we've had a shakeup in who's going to be leading the city for the next couple of weeks. And it's been real shocking. So just as a quick kind of a look back in time so we can be all on the same page here, I want to quickly just go through basically, unfortunately, sadly, we have found out that Mayor Ridenour was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was released back on April 29th that Mayor Ridenour would be going through treatment that would require him to be out of commission. He initially said out of commission for 6 weeks. They've also said at some points 6 to 8 weeks, but then they're kind of really pulling back on that. And I'm hearing everything they're saying 6 weeks, 6 weeks. I have heard 6 to 8 weeks from a couple of sources. So I really don't know. And I'll say this. I wish him well. I hate that he's going through it. If I could, I don't want it. If I could wave my hand and take it away from him and make him not have it, I would do it. I don't like the way that he governs. I'm not happy with a lot of the things that he's done as the mayor, as the executive of Muncie. But I don't want him to have cancer. I don't want anyone to have cancer. And I wish I could take it away from him. I have been praying for the man. I've been praying for his wife and praying for the doctors and nurses who are treating him. I am a praying individual. I believe in God, and I believe in the power of prayer. Some of you might not agree with that. That's your deal. For those that do, I hope that you're praying for him. I know we don't like the things that he's done, but he's a human being, and I wish him well. That said, I also wish that he would lead the city of Muncie properly. I wish that he would think before saying things. I wish that he would plan for things. And I wish that he, wouldn't do government the way that he does it. I wish he was better than what he's been. That's what I'm going to say. And so when it first came to me, I was told that he would not have to leave the office. He wouldn't be leaving. When I first heard about this back in October of last year, I heard that it wouldn't take him out of the office. And I was happy about that. I was happy because that sounded like maybe it wasn't so serious and, things were going to be good. And then when it became public, because I first didn't make it public, I kept it close to the vest. Matter of fact, I think the only people that I told I've been going back, and I went back and forth on this. I think the only people that I've told were my grandparents, and the only reason I told them was for prayer. I don't think that I made that public to anybody. I did not make it public to anybody outside of my grandparents. I think. Anyways, I didn't make it public. I didn't tell you guys. I didn't post it. When it became public from someone else, I was concerned, and I said, hey, let's find out if there's a plan here. And there wasn't. There was no plan. I'm sure that they were thinking about things, but they weren't making it public, which I had an issue with, because he was willing to make the cancer diagnosis public, and he was willing to talk about it and do that stuff. Why not make public what the process is that you're going through here? Because there is a process. There's a legal process, and as Admiral Eric was saying here earlier, the process in which the mayor can put someone in charge of the city in an acting mayor role is governed by an Indiana code, and the Indiana code is 36-4-5-8. That's the Indiana code. If anybody wants to look that up, you're free to look that up. We went through it on the show last night, and I'm not going to pull it up and go through it like we did last night. You can go watch that. We are going to talk about it when we get to some of these documents, but I'm going to talk to you in that frame. Now, before we get into what's happening today, I feel like it's probably more crucial for us to go back, and because I don't want to be called a liar, and I don't want anything that I say to be overshadowed by I don't want to be overshadowed, anything that I say to be overshadowed by people saying, you're not telling the truth, that's not correct, you're lying. So what I want to do is I want to take this from the mayor's words and not use my words, okay? So we are going to listen to what the mayor has to say from this, from the earliest point possible, and then move up through today, all right? And so this will just take a few minutes. It's not too long, but I do think that this is important to do this. So first and foremost, we're going to go to the mayor's community update. And this is the community update from April 29th, 2025. Okay, so this was just 1 month ago today. So we're going to listen to that and hear what he's going to say.
Well, I wanted to do this video today to kind of share the situation that we're about to face. I say we as City of Muncie, myself. So I've received some challenging news, we'll just call it that. I knew back in October that we had, over this past summer, I had some numbers that needed to be looked at. And in October, they did a biopsy and it came back. It was kind of okay, but they wanted to do another one 6 months later. Well, we did that one just a couple of weeks ago, and that has created a situation where there's a lot more urgency now. So I'm about to miss 6 weeks of work sometime in the next 30, 40 days or so, as soon as that can get scheduled. It's a cancer. So it's prostate cancer, but it has moved from the slow moving kind to a faster moving kind. So we're going to have a surgery to remove it. And that will be the attempt will be to take that out so that it doesn't expand to other organs inside my body. And it's going to cause me to miss about 6 weeks of work. And I just kind of want to go over, number one, I want people to know that that's what's going on. But number two, I just want to make sure people can understand how the city will operate, what will happen, and what we have in place to make sure that that goes smoothly. I knew you wanted to ask me some things, so I just felt like this would be the time to share that situation that is happening, and I look forward to it getting over with. I'm not excited about having a surgery, but I am looking forward to a fast completion to this.
Okay, I completely understand, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are with you as your employees, but there are some questions that I think we should answer so the community can understand what the 6 weeks and the healing process is going to look like. So what would you say to residents of Muncie that may be concerned as you're going to be out for 6 weeks, and what is it going to look like here at City Hall while the rest of the team and department heads work without you?
Well, fortunately, I feel like we've got some pretty strong departments, and I'm very comfortable with the leadership of each of those teams. I will not be available for a couple of weeks, and I might be available to some of them. I will not be coming into the office, but I could be available to help. But I really think that the team is put together and is pretty strong, knows what its mission is. Each of the different departments knows what they need to accomplish. And I honestly don't feel like they need me to know what decisions to make. If they have a question, they'll be able to reach out to me during segments of that. But I have great confidence, and I hope the city will have great confidence that they know what they're doing in their particular departments.
What keeps you motivated to stay engaged? I can imagine that this is probably a stressful time, and the city is not your only concern. You have a family as well. So what keeps you motivated to continue focusing on being Mayor Dan?
Well, number one, I love the city, and I know a lot of good things are in place. We've, through all the different teams that we have, the different departments, I feel like we've made some significant progress, and I want to make sure, what excites me is knowing that we've gone from here to where I feel like we're here and we're headed to there. So I want to be a part of that, obviously. And so I just have to go through these 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks, and then I will be excited to come back, believe me. I love work. I don't typically take off. I think since I've been here as mayor, I've taken a 1 full week vacation. I take a Friday or I might take a Monday, but there's only one time in my 6.5 years that I took more than one, that I took a full week together. So it'll be a little different around here, but probably be most different for me than anyone else.
I would definitely agree. So what do you want the people of Muncie to understand about what you're going through? If you could add a little bit of a personal touch to this, what do you want everyone?
I would say I am a man of strong faith, and so I would take and accept, please, any prayers that you have. This is not something that I think the procedure's at risk. The major risk is if it progresses so fast before we get it removed that it gets into other organs. So I would take prayers more than anything. Just think about me and family.
Okay. So you said that you would be excited to come back, which I 100% believe. So what are you most excited about in the coming months? And coming back to work can't be your answer. What are you excited about for Muncie?
Well, I know what's coming in the mall area. A lot of that is going on. It's a private developer with private information, but they do share some things that they are working on. They are super excited with the companies and the interested parties. So I would be excited to see that moving forward, because I think by the time I get back, it will be well in the process of that mall being transformed and torn down. So that will be exciting. And I also think it'll be fun to watch a couple new subdivisions moving forward, a building going up next door, 34 homes in the old West End. I think there's a lot of exciting things and that will be going on, including Columbus Avenue.
Yeah, which is open.
All
right. Well, I think to close this up, what message would you like to leave with residents?
Well, again, should not be a life-threatening, because we did. And here's the thing. I just hope that everybody has a physician. They do a regular physical. And when you have that physical, follow through. If a number is not good, and this is what happened to me in August, a number wasn't good. It's called ESA. It had jumped. It had always been in the 1s, and it jumped to 14. My physician didn't like that, and then ordered a number of tests. I did all those tests, and we ended up doing the biopsy. And they said, something's not right, but we don't think it's fast moving. Let's order another biopsy. And so now we're 6 months down the road, and it certainly is fast moving. So had I not taken the steps to have a physical, and so I just ask people to please get your physical and then follow through with what your physician, they're the experts, follow through with what they recommend and do what's good. Your family wants you around, your coworkers want you around, the public wants you around, your neighbors want you, but you've got to take those steps. And for me, I think the fact that I always get my annual physical is one of the positives, and I hope that others will model that.
Anything else?
I think I'm good. I'm not looking forward to the procedure, but I am looking forward to getting past it. And I hope and pray that's where we'll be.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we heard concerning what he said when he first announced it. That was April 29th. He talked about being out for 6 weeks. That was the hard time, 6 weeks. And he didn't mention anything about who would be taking over for him, other than just saying that he had department heads that were in place, and he felt the department heads would be able to handle things, and everything would be pretty smooth. Now, that was April 29th. Probably about a week after that, I started hearing that the replacement, or he would be looking at actually naming an acting mayor, and it would either be Jeff Green or Dale Basham. That's what I started hearing from political people, not necessarily what I would call sources that I have from City Hall, but people that consider themselves political insiders. And I'll be honest, that wasn't a surprise to me. Yeah, that made sense. That's somebody that they would appoint. Now, when I first heard this, my take on that would be they would be named acting mayor. And so what that would mean is, for the period that they would be acting mayor, they would be basically coming off the council. They would still be councilors, but they wouldn't be sitting on the council during council meetings, and they wouldn't be voting, because you can't do both. Everybody knows you can't do both. In the state of Indiana, you cannot be a sitting city councilor and a mayor. That's separation of powers. You can't do that. That would be a serious constitutional crisis if something like that were to happen. That doesn't work like that. So then I think the very next thing that occurred that I heard was people were sending me a bunch of text messages. Bam, 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 bam. I was starting to be inundated with text messages of Mayor Dan's appearance on WMUN, which is like the sister call letters to WLBC. It's all hosted by the same person, Steve Lindell, radio buddy Steve Lindell, WLBC from 104.1 here in WLBC land, sat down and interviewed him on the 11th of May. And the interview lasted, I don't know how long the interview lasted, but they started off with a couple shootings that we had. And we then went into, from there, we went into talking about the cancer diagnosis. And so let's listen to what he has to say. Now, I have skipped this forward. We're not going to listen to anything other than what pertains to what's going on here. So listen to this.
Very good. Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor of Muncie. Always allows us to ask the questions that need to be asked. And there's a lot of things going on all the time. Now let's get a little personal, because that's obviously one of the most new chunks of information that you shared a couple of weeks ago now, maybe a few. Your personal health situation. For those that don't know, if you might share just a little summary of what you're dealing with and you know what they're going to be doing for you.
Okay. Well, back in August, I had my annual physical, and my PSA numbers went from 1, had been 1 for decades, my whole life, essentially, went to 14, and that caused a lot of tests to be run. They did those tests, scans, blah, 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 blah. In October, they did a biopsy, came back, and they said, there's something there, but it looks like it's slow moving. Just to be safe, we'll do another biopsy 6 months later, which they did. This was this past April. And that came back, and they said, no, it's moving fast, so we want to take some steps. So we decided, my wife and I decided, we'll just have the prostate removed, and hopefully it will then not spread to any other organs inside.
So there he says, he calls it what it is. They're going to have the prostate removed. Now, that's a pretty substantial surgery, but in the grand scheme of things, it has a pretty quick surgical time and recovery time. Pretty simple, okay?
my body. So that we had to wait.
Yeah.
The biopsy was the second week of April, and you had to wait because I said, well, let's just do it. How quickly can we do this? But they said you have to go 6 weeks and let the body heal from the biopsy. So the earliest we could do it was June. So and the first surgery day was Tuesday, June 2nd. So it will be June 2nd.
Okay,
is when we will have this done.
So there he officially said the surgery is going to be June 2nd. So it was from Ridenour's mouth when I'm hearing, all right, he's going to be in surgery June 2nd. Is he taking the week off beforehand? From what we know about Ridenour, I assumed probably not. Maybe he'll take a couple of days off. I knew they were having the Delaware County Republican a golf outing on Friday, so I thought, maybe he'll take Wednesday, Thursday off, spend some time with the family, go to the golf outing, have the weekend, Monday, do the surgery on Tuesday, which is kind of what I thought. But apparently he didn't do that. All right, so I'm just going off what Ridenour said. So we know a hard date. Tuesday, June 2nd is day of surgery. Okay, go on.
It'll cause me to be out of the office for 6 weeks or so.
I don't know if you noticed this or not. No, I know you pretty well because we talk a lot, and you're very open.
6 weeks or so. Mayor Ridenour, then 2 weeks later, and I want to show everybody when this is. This is Delaware County Today on Wolfboom Studio B, WMUN, and this was recorded. It's labeled May 11th, 5/11/26. If you look here on Facebook, it says 2 weeks ago, 60 views, May 11th, 2026. So this jumps ahead from the 29th, which is when him and Amber sat down. Okay, the 29th of April. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is 12 days later. All right, so roughly 2 weeks later, he is doing this interview with Steve Lindell. All right, and now he's saying 6 weeks or so. And it was around this time that I started hearing that internally they were saying 6 to 8 weeks.
Open and sharing and so forth on and off the record, and I appreciate both. But I don't think you even noticed when you did your social media post in your office there that day, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, the way you posed it was almost apologetic towards missing work. You kind of let off with, well, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm gonna have to miss how many weeks of work, whatever, 6 weeks of work, and it's and then you finally got to the fact that you had to go in for surgery, and you laid out what you just explained. You're kind of wired that way.
I am wired that way, so I'm not excited at all, but I would like to get it out of my body.
Yep, absolutely. So. And thoughts and prayers,
thank you.
Of course, from everybody. One of the other, important factoids is, you'll be out of touch for some period of time, and rightfully so, to recover. We don't have a deputy mayor. That was defunded by city council, and I think everybody knows the whens and wheres of that. So there's nobody officially as a deputy mayor. So how does that work?
Yeah, the state statute says for a short-term leave, which is what this will be, that the mayor can appoint somebody from the city council. I'm appointing Jeff Green, who is the city council president. And it's not like he will be in the office every day running the city, but he will be there in those instances where something needs to be signed or handled. Because for 2 weeks, I'm not available. And so he will handle it during that period of time.
Did you at all consider appointing me as deputy mayor?
I did not, because the state statute did.
Okay, so we are going to, yeah, that would go over well. We would tear shit up if that was the case. What I'm referring to there, ladies and gentlemen, is the commenter that just said, make Chris deputy mayor. Of course. Why did they not do this? Okay, so we just heard here Mayor Ridenour refer to the state statute that says, for a short period of time, they can appoint someone from the city council. He's appointing Jeff Green. He's not going to be there running the city every day, but he'll be there for when things need to be signed, and yada, 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 yada. Okay. That was from his mouth. All right. Now, that was on the 11th of May. The 11th of May, 1, 2. So we're talking about 2 weeks and 4 days ago. When the council agenda for Monday's meeting came out, and I started looking at this, and I started noticing that there was a lot of big things on this agenda, and it could very well be a contentious meeting. I started thinking, wait a minute, Jeff Green is not going to be there. That means Basham's going to be leading the show. The council's going to be a body of 8 instead of a body of 9. And with one of the Republicans gone, you now have 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. This is going to be a problem because Jeff can't vote while he's acting mayor. So I started sending emails to the mayor and being very vocal. I was talking to you all. You guys were reaching out and talking to the council members. I was reaching out and talking to the council members and saying, hey, just what in the hell are we doing here? What is going to happen? I've not heard anything being filed with the court. I've not heard of anything being filed with the clerk's office. I've not seen any paperwork. The city's not releasing anything. Why has the communications director not put out a press release about this? We are a week away from a very, what could be a controversial, contentious council meeting, and a week and a day away from when the mayor is going to be having surgery. And we still don't know who's going to be leading the city for the next 2 months. What's happening here? So I send out an email because on Wednesday or Thursday, I started hearing that there might be a little bit of falter with putting Jeff in place because he's needed on the council. So it's like, okay, what's happening? The mayor can't just appoint somebody. What's going to happen here? Well, then I'm not a big reader of the Star Press. I don't read the Star Press frequently, and so I don't know these things unless they get thrown my way. Someone makes me aware of the fact that on the 26th, which today, if watching this broadcast live, today is Friday, May 29th, if you're here live. So the 26th was Tuesday. And we get this article here. Muncie Council President to fill in for Mayor Ridenour after surgery. Jeff Green, President of the Muncie City Council, will fill in as needed while Mayor Dan Ridenour recovers from cancer surgery. Ridenour, who will undergo surgery for prostate cancer on June 2nd, made the announcement about Green's duties last week. The council president will not maintain regular office hours at Muncie City Hall while Ridenour is recuperating, but he will be available as needed. Ridenour announced on April 29th that he had recently received challenging news when results of a biopsy created some urgency in pursuing treatment. I'm about to miss 6 weeks of work, As we know all of that information, you guys basically know the story there. Okay. Well, that was published, as I say, on on Tuesday, the 26th. That takes us to the next. Give me a second here. That takes us to the next document that was published. And that document was from the, let me see here. Close window. That document was from the Daily News, and that was published actually before that Star Press article. The Daily News, which is a Ball State publication, they publicized the information on their newspaper. They did this on the 22nd, which was a week ago Friday. Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour appoints Councilman Jeff Green to run city during absence. It's got a picture of Jeff Green here. Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour announced May 11th that City Council President Jeff Green will temporarily assume mayoral responsibilities while he recovers from prostate cancer surgery next month. Ridenour announces the appointment during the appearance on WMUN. Green will serve in a limited capacity while the mayor is away from City Hall for several weeks throughout June and into July. It's not like he'll be in the office every day running the city, but he'll be there in those instances where something needs to be signed or handled, Ridenour said. Okay, and then it goes on to what's happening here. All right, right here is interesting. This is the first time that I've actually seen in publication. I have heard from those close to the situation 6 to 8 weeks of work. But this is actually published here in this article. Ridenour previously said he expects to miss 6 to 8 weeks of work during recovery, but expressed confidence in the city's administration ability to continue operations during his absence. I really think the team is put together and is pretty strong and knows what its mission is, Ridenour said in the April video. I honestly don't feel like they need to know what decisions to make. Under Indiana Code 36485, a mayor who is temporarily unavailable to perform official duties may appoint either a deputy mayor or a member of the city's legislative body to carry out executive responsibilities. Muncie no longer has a deputy mayor position after the Muncie City Council voted to defund the role in late 2024, leaving the appointment of a council member as the available option. Okay, Green, a Republican representing District 1 and currently serving as council president, will oversee any official mayoral actions requiring authorization during Ridenour's recovery. In his initial announcement, Ridenour asked residents of prayers, and so that's the end of that piece there. Okay, and it's like, all right, everything is as it seems to be. I send out my emails that went out yesterday. I have a back and forth with one of the rudest people in the Ridenour administration, Shireen Wagley. And Shireen and I are going back and forth. And I almost get that, like, they were mad that I was asking this because they thought that I was onto something and they thought that I knew that there was chaos going on. I feel like that's the problem now. I feel like that's why that this thing happened. So we wake up today to find out that the news is different. And what do I mean about that? Well, as of this morning, the City of Muncie Communications Director, Amber Green, posted this to the city's Facebook pages, okay? And it says, she also sent this out in a press release to myself and to all of the other media organizations. For immediate release, May 29th, 2026, City of Muncie announces temporary designation of acting executive. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36458, the City of Muncie announces the temporary designation of Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe What? What do you mean, deputy mayor? Who's deputy mayor Jeff Howe? Jeff Howe is that asshole that is ahead of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. He's the director of the MRC. Who is Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe? I don't know Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe. What's that about? See how weird this is? Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe as acting executive during Mayor Dan Ridenour's upcoming medical leave. As previously announced, Mayor Ridenour will be out of the office for surgery to treat recently discovered prostate cancer. Earlier this morning, Jeff Howe was formally appointed deputy mayor. In accordance with Indiana law, the temporary designation of acting executive will take effect at midnight on June 1st, 2026, and will remain in place for 15 days. 15 days? Now I know what the problem is. I finally get it after all this time. This is why we have such a problem with money, and this is why we spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on buildings, and then we sell it for $1. Because if they, in their minds, are able to jam 6 to 8 weeks into 15 days, this is the problem. Because I've spent almost the entirety of today's date. I've had all my fingers and all of my toes, and I have not been able to figure out how in the hell 15 days comes out to 6 to 8 weeks. I just can't make it happen. All right. I had to call my brother, who's like a chemical engineer, biomedical engineer. He's a civil engineer now from the Navy. And I called him. The dude's a math genius, and he couldn't figure it out either. Okay. Mr. Howe will continue to serve in his current role as director of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission while assuming the temporary responsibilities of acting executive. So wait a minute. He's going to be MRC director and deputy mayor, who is the acting mayor. So he's going to be MRC director. He's going to be deputy mayor. And as deputy mayor, he's going to be the acting mayor. Okay, that makes sense. The city of Muncie wishes Mayor Ridenour prayers for a smooth procedure and a quick recovery, said Amber Green, Director of Communications. Why is Amber needing to quote herself? This is Amber writing this, and Amber is quoting herself. Amber Green said, Amber Green then said that Amber Green said, the city of Muncie wishes Mayor Ridenour prayers for a smooth procedure and quick recovery, said Amber Green to Amber Green. We eagerly await his return and are confident in Mr. Howe's leadership and abilities during this temporary transition. Right, Amber? Right, Amber. This is why she can call all of us idiots and fat asses and lazy and stupid, because she doesn't need any of us as friends or people around her. Because when you have two Ambers, who needs anybody else? For Amber's giving it the green light. For questions regarding the legal effect of this designation, please contact the office of the city attorney. No, I don't think so. I didn't elect the city attorney. I want to contact the man that's making this happen. I want to contact the mayor's office. I don't want to contact the city attorney. I didn't elect the city attorney. But okay, general media and public inquiries may be directed to Amber Green. Okay, so that is what we woke up to first thing this morning. And I was like, okay, well, there's got to be more to this than just that. All right, like something else has to be happening. Okay, I don't understand. There's got to be something going on here. So here's the picture of. Remember earlier when I said Shireen was one of the rudest people in City Hall? Shireen's one of them. Amber's another one. But the absolute most definitely rudest individuals in all of city government is this asshole on the screen right here. This man is the key power trip dude. He feels like he is somebody. Now they're making him somebody. Amber looks rough in this picture. This guy here is not a good public servant. I'll just put it to you that way. All right. He's not somebody that should be leading a city. I cannot. All you have to do is watch any of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meetings to find out that this guy is an asshole. Listen, there are going to be hordes of people out there that are denigrating me because I'm saying this. They're going to say, oh, Jeff is so nice. He's so smart. He's done this and I don't care what he's done. I didn't say he's lazy. I didn't say he's not capable of doing things. I said he's an asshole. That's it. And given what we currently have going on in the city of Muncie and what we have had going on in the city of Muncie, I don't believe he is the good fit. Okay, so they swore him in today. Here's Mayor Ridenour swearing him in. Okay. Now look at this. Look at this piece of paper here. Man, I really... Okay, so on this piece of paper that he's holding, I know you guys probably can't see it, but they have not signed. Jeff has not signed, and the mayor has not signed. However, the county's filled in, the city's filled in. Jeff Howe's name has been printed. The date has been inserted. This is so strange. We'll get there here in a minute. Okay. This is an interesting picture. So this is released this morning. Okay. So I then go up and I get these documents. And I get these documents because I feel like it's important for someone to have them and for someone to go through them. Okay. And all told, there are 7 documents. Okay. And these documents are very important. And I'm going to put them up here on the screen as we go through them. All right. First up, document 1 is the oath of office. Okay. Next up is the clerk's acknowledgement of filing acting mayor designation. All right. Clerk's acknowledgement of filing acting mayor designation. That's 2. 3 is the signature sheet for that second sheet there. Okay. That's what that is. The 4th page is the temporary designation of acting mayor pursuant to Indiana Code 36458. Okay, it's right here. Oops, sorry, it's right there. Okay. 5 is the acceptance of the designation of acting mayor. Okay, that's where that is. All right. 6 is legal notice regarding acting mayor designation. Right here. And then 7 is the signature page, okay? Signed by a 4-year-old and Sarah Shade, all right? Now, I have an 8th document in the overlays, all right? I have an 8th document. It's not a different document. It's just this document. It's just this document with an addition. The 8th document is this. The addition of a red mark. See, here's the document. Nothing changes about the document other than I circle the date. Okay? I'm going to do it again so you guys can see it because I don't want there to be any question. I did not in any way edit this document other than I put a circle on there. Here's the document. Delaware, Muncie, Deputy Mayor, Jeff Howe signature, Jeff Howe printed, 5th May 26. Ridenour signature, Ridenour printed, Mayor. Okay? Here's the document. Delaware, Muncie, Deputy Mayor, signature of Howe, printed Howe, 5th May 26. Ridenour signature, Ridenour printed, Mayor. Now, we're going to leave this one up. And the reason I'm going to leave this one up is it's dated for the 5th of May, 2026. Nearly a month ago. Here's the thing. Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 was primary election day. So nobody was up at City Hall on Tuesday, May 6th. Okay. So no. Back up here. I want to make sure everyone's aware. All right. I want to make sure that everybody is aware that there's a difference between being deputy mayor and being acting mayor. This is the thing that people are not getting. Deputy mayor is not the same thing as him being the acting mayor. Deputy mayor has no time limit to it. He can be deputy mayor for the rest of time under Ridenour, and there's no time limit. The acting mayor is what has the 15-day time. So put that out of your mind right now. Now, Stumblefoot asks a really good question here. When was it recorded officially? Well, first and foremost, so you all know, the oath of office doesn't have to be officially recorded. Matter of fact, it isn't. It is not officially recorded. There is not a stamp on this page. This is a copy of the actual copy. I saw the original copy in the clerk's office today, the city clerk's office, and it is not stamped. This is stamped today. This is stamped today. This is not stamped, but this is dated and signed with today's date, and it was a notary signed it, stamped it. This then was stamped today. This, however, was not stamped. It doesn't need to be stamped. It doesn't have to be stamped specifically. Like the mayor can put him in as deputy mayor because it's a statutory position. He's not elected. The mayor can make anybody deputy mayor he wants. Being deputy mayor means nothing. He could make anybody deputy mayor. There's nothing wrong with being deputy mayor. That's not what the issue is. See, until he made Jeff Howe deputy mayor, he couldn't name Jeff Howe acting mayor. The only thing that he could do was one of the council people. If he would have been smart, what he would have done is he would have put one of the Democrats in as acting mayor. Then he would have thrown off the count. That would have been funny. He should have put Harold Mason in as deputy mayor, as the acting mayor. And I think that might have helped him there. So what they're claiming is, as deputy mayor, Jeff Howe is going to take no paycheck. He's not going to get a paycheck. He's going to only get a paycheck as MRC director, and he's going to forego a paycheck for deputy mayor. Alva asks a good question. Can he hold two positions, deputy mayor and director of MRC? Well, if he was getting paid as deputy mayor, no, he couldn't. He could not hold both positions because, in my opinion, that would be a dual lucrative position, and he would not be able to do that. Because he's saying he doesn't want to get paid, that's the loophole I think that they are going through. Now, the other issue that they're saying here is Lenny. The other thing that they're saying here is he's only going to be deputy mayor not deputy mayor. He's going to be acting mayor for 15 days. So let's go through these. I, the undersigned, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Indiana, and I will faithfully, impartially, and diligently discharge the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor according to the law to the best of my ability. Jeff Howe. Now, Jeff didn't... Why did Jeff Howe not write his own name? And why did Ridenour not write his own name? Why did who wrote that? What woman wrote that? Because they write like an 8-year-old or an 8th grader. All they need is like hearts above the eyes. It's real bubbly. That's kind of crazy to me. Okay, moving on. Here's this. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36485, I, Belinda Munson, clerk of the City of Muncie, Indiana, hereby acknowledge the receipt and filing of the following document: temporary designation of acting mayor. The document was received by the office of the clerk on May 29th, 2026. And it's stamped over there. I don't know why they didn't put in a time, but they didn't. Received from Assistant City Attorney Aubrey Christ. Name of acting mayor, if applicable, Jeff Howe. Now, keep in mind, Aubrey Christ, you know who her dad is? Aubrey Christ's dad is Jeff Green. Okay? Like, good God, how incestuous is this all? All right? So, Jeff Howe, acting mayor, deputy mayor, Acting Mayor Jeff Howe, Deputy Mayor. Effective date of designation, June 1st, 2026. The document has been entered into the official records of the city and retained in accordance with applicable law and municipal record retention requirements. I further certify that copies of the file document have been made available to President of the Common Council, President Pro Tem of the Common Council, and they didn't check either one of those boxes. Belinda signed it the 29th day of May, 2026. Now, look, we know that Belinda didn't write that because we see Belinda's writing, and Belinda didn't write the 5th day of May, 2026. See, this says the 5th day of May, 2026. Belinda wrote the 29th day of May of 2026. Okay. Temporary designation of acting mayor pursuant to Indiana Code 36458. I, Dan Ridenour, the duly elected mayor of the city of Muncie, hereby designate Jeff Howe, who is deputy mayor of the city. This is such a loophole bullshit thing. Basically, he's not the deputy mayor. He's never acted as the deputy mayor. He's got no business being deputy mayor. They just named him this because they knew that they were in a tight spot. Because, as Ray said, the problem here is the fact that Ridenour, like he always does, jumps head and feet and body and city first into crap before he follows the law, before he knows what's going on, before he asks questions. He just speaks and says things. And then once it's found out to be something wrong with it by yours truly or somebody, okay, then he's like, oh shit. Well, we got to do something different now because this is screwed up and Bilbrey caught us. Bilbrey caught us, and now what are we going to do? Okay. That's the problem. That's the absolute problem here. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about, Carrie. Absolutely worried about that. This designation shall become effective at 12 a.m. June 1st. The designation shall remain in effect under the statutory exercise of powers for a maximum of 15 days pursuant to Indiana Code 36458, unless sooner terminated by my written clear certification. During the period of this designation, the acting mayor shall possess and may exercise all powers and duties of the office of mayor authorized by Indiana law. This designation made pursuant to Indiana Code 36458 shall be filed with the president or president pro tem of the Common Council and the clerk of the Common Council. In witness thereof, Dan Ridenour and Aubrey Christ was the notary public of the state of Indiana. Okay. If we would have kept our mouths shut until Monday, he wouldn't have done this. You know, Alva, and that's the thing that a lot of people say, a lot of people think, and a lot of people say that I would be better off to do that and I would catch them. And I'll be honest. Yeah, probably, maybe something like that would happen or could happen. And it would be funny, but I honestly would rather make them scramble and make them do it right. Make them do it more right than wrong, because I think it needs to be done right. Yeah, you're probably true. Who knows? That's probably damn true. It's ridiculous to have to think that way. And then it's always like some weird thing, like, you know, why is there always some kind of thing that's like makes it have some questionable shit attached to it? Like, why does this say the 5th of May? You know, how hard is that to say, oops, we wrote the wrong date in here, bring in some white out, or oops, let's just change this paper. Oops. That's so crazy to me. Okay, so back to here. All right, acceptance. This is where Jeff Howe, as deputy mayor of the city of Muncie, he acknowledges his designation as acting mayor and agrees to perform the duties of the office during the period specified above, in witness thereof, under the signed executed this instrument this 29th day of May 2026. And here it is. Certificate of filing. I certify a copy of this temporary designation acting mayor was filed with the following officials on the 29th day of May 2026. President of the Common Council, clerk of the Common Council. And there it is. Okay, there's that. Then here's the legal notice. Now, this is where it's interesting. So they've had the attorney draft this thing up, which is funny to me. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Muncie City Clerk, from Office of the City Attorney, not the corporate attorney, May 29th, 2026, designation of acting mayor pursuant to IC 36458. The Office of the City Attorney has reviewed the attached temporary designation of acting mayor executed by Mayor Ridenour pursuant to IC Code 36458. The attached designation provides notice that Deputy Mayor Jeff Howe has been designated to serve as acting mayor, acting executive of the City of Muncie, Indiana, during the period specified in the attached designation. Indiana Code 36458 authorizes a mayor who is absent, ill, injured, or otherwise temporarily unable to perform the duties of office to designate a qualified individual to exercise the powers and perform the duties of the office of mayor during a period of temporary incapacity or absence. The designation has been reviewed by this office and appears facially compliant with the requirements of Indiana law. Accordingly, during the effective period identified in the attached designation, city officers, employees, boards, commissions, contractors, financial institutions, government agencies, and other entities doing business with the city shall rely upon the authority of the acting mayor to perform those duties and execute those documents authorized by law. Attached for filing and reference are temporary designation of acting mayor, acceptance of the designation of acting mayor, and clerk's acknowledgement of filing. The clerk is requested to maintain these documents as part of the city's official record. And then questions regarding legal effect of the designation may be directed to the Office of the City Attorney, Okay. I feel like I'm just going to say this. I feel like it didn't look good that Ridenour was putting Howe in as acting mayor the same day that he named him deputy mayor, because I think people could see through that and people could realize what's happening there. Oh, this guy's not the actual deputy mayor. This guy's Joe Schmo, some bullshit, and they just did this so they could then name him. Let's go back to Steve Lindell. Steve Lindell's like, "Oh, could you name me? Could you name me the acting mayor?" And Dan's like, "Nope, because the Indiana Code says I can't." Sure you can, Dan. Name Steve Lindell as the deputy mayor and sign it all in the same day. So I think they put a different date on there, thinking they'll stretch it out. And now it doesn't look so goofy. But the idiots that did that didn't realize that somebody with half a brain was going to realize that May 5th was Tuesday, election day. Any other 5th day of the month, they would be in there working more than likely. However, this 5th day of the month, they weren't because it was freaking election day. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Here's the signatures, and that's it. So, crazy, all right? Absolutely crazy. So then, and I know there's some questions, and I'm going to get to your questions. Just stay right there, because I am going to get to your questions, okay? So then, Star Press, they jump on it, all right, real quick. They quickly jump up on it. And they get Muncie Redevelopment Commission Director to serve as acting executive. Ho, ho, ho. Mayor Dan Ridenour, expected to miss 6 weeks of work while he recuperates from cancer surgery, will leave things in the hands of an acting executive. Ridenour on Friday, May 29th, announced the appointment of Jeff Howe to those duties. Howe will also continue to serve as director of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, according to a news release. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is what's so bullshitty about this. Right, wrong, or indifferent. If this was the Tyler administration, Doug Walker would have wrote 3 or 4 articles about this. He would be examining if this was legal. He would be talking about whether it should be happening. It could be legal, but it doesn't seem right. But because it's Ridenour, because it's Dan doing what Dan does, and because Doug Walker sucks, like always, there's no question. It just is what it is. Howe will continue to serve as director of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, according to a news release. Muncie City Council, then with a Democratic majority in 2024, eliminated funding for the deputy mayor position that at that time held by Republican Richard Ivey. He is now the Human Resources Director for the Muncie Sanitary District. Friday's release indicated Howe will not receive compensation for his duties as acting executive. In accordance with Indiana law, temporary designation of acting executive will take effect on June 1st and will remain in place for 15 days, the release said. Howe is the former president of Old National Bank Northeast Region. Ridenour had earlier announced Jeff Green, president of Muncie City Council, would fill in for him as needed during his recuperation. Ridenour is scheduled to undergo surgery for prostate cancer on Tuesday, June 2nd. Why is nobody talking? They're acting like it's no big deal. Ridenour had early announced Jeff Green, president of Muncie City Council, would fill in for him prior while he's recuperating. Why are they not talking about? Why are they not talking about what changed? Why is no one mentioning this? I don't understand it. I'm looking through this. Look at this. Now, this is some actual reporting. Let's look at this. Why is it that the Ball State newspaper manages to do more than the Star Press? The Star Press should be embarrassed. All right? Let's take a look at this. So, the Daily News. The Daily News says, Jeff Howe named Muncie deputy mayor replaces Jeff Green as acting executive. He didn't replace him. No, Kate. Kate's just joined the chat. We see. Did they file a retraction or an apology? Nope. Nothing like that. I'll get to the comments here in just a few moments. Stand by, because I have some things to say to Wayne Scaife and a couple of other people, and I want to talk to Kate directly too. So listen to this. The City of Muncie announced that Jeff Howe has been appointed deputy mayor and will also temporarily serve as direct acting executive during Mayor Dan Ridenour's upcoming medical leave, in both a press release and on social media on May 29th. The City of Muncie announced in a Facebook post that Jeff Howe had been appointed deputy mayor on the same day as the acting executive announcement. Oh my gosh! The post stated that Howe would serve in the role indefinitely while continuing his current position as director of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. The city also noted Howe would not receive additional compensation for serving as deputy mayor. And then they show the post from Facebook that we just looked at. Amber Green, the city's director of communications, said the deputy mayor position itself was never eliminated, though it had remained vacant since 2024 after funding for the role previously held by Richard Ivey was removed by Muncie City Council. Ivey currently serves as Human Resource Director for the Muncie Sanitary District. The city also issued a formal release on May 29th stating Howe would temporarily serve as acting executive during Ridenour's medical leave under Indiana Code 3458. States that mayor who is temporarily unable to perform official duties may appoint either the deputy mayor or a member of the city's legislative body to carry out executive responsibilities. According to the release, Howe's authority as acting executive will begin on June 1st and remain in place for 15 days. The announcement came after Ridenour previously said during a radio appearance that Jeff Green would oversee city operations during his absence. When asked about the change, Amber Green said this. As previously reported by the Ball State Daily News, Ridenour announced the appointment during an appearance on WMUN. Green would serve in a limited capacity while the mayor is away from City Hall for several weeks throughout June and into July. It's not like he will be in the office every day running the city, but he will be there in those instances where something needs to be signed or handled, Ridenour said during his appearance. However, Amber Green said that Jeff Green was never formally appointed to acting mayor or acting executive role. No shit! According to Amber, the decision to appoint Howe came together through internal discussions ahead of the mayor's surgery. Green also said city officials are still discussing whether Howe's appointment as deputy mayor will ultimately remain temporary or become permanent. What? These people are so confusing and they're so backwards and it's so damn embarrassing. This kind of stuff should not be happening in a city the size of Muncie. I wonder if Dan will leave Howe a notebook for Howe to follow for those 15 days. That's hilarious, Kate says. That's funny. Okay, now I want to go back and I want to hit some of these questions. Let's see here. What press release starts out with IC code to show it's legal to put someone in as mayor? Usually it just says John Doe will be replacement. Why? That was Dan's way of saying, I didn't listen to Bilbrey, but I'm going to lead with IC code because the average citizen wants to know it's legal. Absolutely. The way they did that was solely to speak to me. Okay? I'm not the only person that said that. Alice says, I'm the bad guy for saving Dan's ass. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. New deputy mayor and city council president have an opportunity to keep Dan from coming back for a long time if they wanted to play that sort of game. Only if we had people in there that had a brain, but apparently we don't. Karen says, what happens after 15 days? Great question. So we have to go down here to Wayne to get this. Is that 15 calendar days? Ladies and gentlemen, the Indiana Code does not say 15 business days. It does not say 15 business days. So and the code actually says 15 days maximum in a 60-day period. So I have to take that to mean it's 15 days. It's 15 days. It's June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. That's what it is. So on Monday, June 15th, his time as acting mayor will come to an end. I believe they will keep him in the deputy mayor spot, paying him as MRC director, which he's paid out of edit. He's not a paid city employee. He's paid out of edit in that role. They will keep him as the deputy mayor. I fully believe that'll happen. Okay, I fully believe that'll happen. Dan doing a lot of hustling to make sure he doesn't lose any yes votes on the council while he's gone. It's a good chess move. As acting mayor, will he sit through the entire council meeting? No, I fully don't see that. He doesn't even want to sit through the entire MRC meeting. And the dude is a straight up asshole at those meetings. And if you believe that I won't say that to his face, you got another thing coming. Okay, doing a lot of hustling up there. Why would he? Dan hardly comes to city council meetings, so why would Jeff Howe? That's absolutely true. Did any of these articles, any of these places file retraction or apology? No. Considering the deputy mayor position is technically still in the books as unfunded, Dan had a loophole in his back pocket, and the new deputy can be in for up to 6 months. Now, that is only if they file it with the court as acting for 6 months. I don't know. I really don't know. How embarrassing that there is never an official press release. It comes from Facebook posts. I will say, yeah, you're right on this one. They sent out an official press release, but it was 2 or 3 hours after they had made the social media post. So unorganized, so unqualified, very true. I wonder if Dan will leave Howe another notebook for Howe to follow up those 15 days. Absolutely. Interesting that they keep mentioning 15 days. The law allows for up to 6 months. And I don't believe the signed documents limit to 15 days. It's just a non-binding statement. No, here's the deal. In order for the 6 months, they have to file something through the circuit court. And let me tell you, let's look this up just to make sure that we're saying this right. 36, 4, 5, 8. We just looked this up and went through it last night, but I want to make sure that we are saying this right. Okay. Now, okay. So it can't be the acting mayor that does it. It has to be the president or the president pro tem of the city legislative body files with the circuit court, the superior court or probate court of the county in which the city is located, a written statement suggesting that the executive is unable to discharge the powers and duties of the executive office. The circuit court, superior court, or probate court shall convene within 48 hours to decide that question. After that, when the executive files with the court, they have to do it in 48 hours. Okay. If the circuit court, superior court, or probate court decides under subsection C that the executive is unable to discharge the powers and duties of the executive office, then the deputy mayor, or if that position has been established under or the president of the legislative body in a second-class city, or the president pro tem of the legislative body, if there is no mayor, shall serve as acting executive with all powers of the office. A person may serve as acting executive for a maximum of 6 months under the subsection. The city legislative body may appropriate funds to compensate a person acting as executive under the subsection D. So in order for that to happen, they would have to file it through the circuit court. As Alvis said, are we trying to set Jeff up for a run for mayor? Not in 2028. It would be 2027. That's just next year, folks. Next year. We are less than 6 months away. No, wait a minute. We're May now. No. So, okay, it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah. So January, the process starts for May, or for May, for the election in May. So that very well could be just a year earlier. They hope that after 15 days, citizens won't notice. They only get to flip the script if you tolerate that type of government. Well, that is true. But seeing how it's hard for people to even get their asses to meetings, I don't know that anybody's going to be in the streets with pitchforks and poles with fire on top. Since we don't have pennies anymore. It's got to be more than 2 cents. It'd have to be a nickel. It's just your nickel. What's this? What is what is this, Kate? What's 1159? Ray says, oh my God, why doesn't the council play hardball and push back their council meeting? Can they do that? Yeah, why would they have to do that? Why are you saying that? They can do it, but here's who would have to do it. Jeff Green would have to do it. And Jeff Green is not going to do anything the mayor doesn't want. Jeff Green and the mayor are two peas in a pod. I guarantee Mr. Howe from Gilligan's Island is being paid somehow. He's already being paid as the MRC director. There's also nothing in the law pertaining to how many times they can extend those 15 days. No, as long as they come off of it for a day in between. They could do that for multiple times. Did they give him a park as a perk, Secret Land? Yeah, very well possible. Hal can't talk nicely in public long enough to run for office. That's very true, Kate. That's very true. I can't wait until the next mayoral election. I can't wait. 11:50 p.m. on the 15th. He's done.
Sorry. They cannot extend the 15 days. Code says that he is only permitted 15 days in any 60-day period.
In any 60-day period.
So at the
That's
end of
right.
the 60 days, they could do it again.
That's right.
15 days in any 60-day period. So there is no mechanism for extending it because you can't.
That's right. No, you're right. That is right. That's right. That's right. That is right. I didn't think yeah, you're right. So the only thing they could do at the end of the 15th day is Jeff Green would have to file with the circuit court for the 6-month thing. That's what they would have to do. So it's going to be interesting. No, that's exactly right. No, I appreciate that you did that. Here's the thing, though. So I said, because my issue is, why in the hell does this thing say, sorry, I'm having a stroke. Why did this thing say Tuesday? It doesn't say Tuesday. I just know May 5th was a Tuesday. Why does this thing say 5th May 2026? Now, I was talking to Brandon earlier, and Brandon's like, well, trying to play devil's advocate. What if they put the 5th in there for the 5th month? What if they were trying to put in there 5/29/26? Why wouldn't they have corrected it if they realized that? But then they wrote May. And listen, all of these documents are like this. A lot of documents at City Hall are like this. So even though it's backwards, that's how people in Europe write the date. I a lot of times will write dates like that. While that's funny just to common people, at City Hall that's not uncommon because they write like that frequently. So it's not something that would have thrown them off. But why is that like that? Why did they not put the 29th day of May? So I'm thinking everything about that. And so I reached out to Amber to ask. Now, I didn't reach out the way that I used to when we were friends because apparently that way is cut off. That's not something that I can do anymore, which is fine. I'm more than fine reaching out professionally. I have no problem with that. And I commented on one of the city's pages. Let me see if I can get Muncie, City of Muncie Communications page. I commented and I said, why was Jeff Howe allegedly sworn in on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, primary election day when City Hall is closed? Okay, that seems to me to be a legitimate question. I don't know, maybe some people think that it's not. I'm sure there are some Dan addicts out there that think that that's not appropriate. I think it's appropriate. Amber says, thanks for the question. Mr. Howe was sworn in today, May 29th, 2026. The date referenced on the oath of office document was simply a clerical error made when completing the form and does not reflect the actual date of the swearing in. The oath was administered today and the document will be corrected to accurately reflect the date. We appreciate the opportunity to clarify. What? Some man called David Coakley says, City of Muncie Communications, clerical error my ass. LOL. I don't know who he is, but I will heart that message. Clerical error, my ass. What's the clerical error? The clerical error is typing May 29th and fat fingering, and it says May 99th. Or 129th, because you've hit a 1 by the 2. Or 229. Or 299.
You did a Bilbrey when you were writing it.
Yeah.
And thought it was the 28th, not the 29th.
Why? What was that?
We were talking about how we were confused on the date of what weekend Memorial Day was going to be on.
Oh, yes.
And we always are like, wait a minute, today is Thursday, right?
Yes.
So that would be a clerical error.
That would be a clerical error.
What day you're on.
Yeah.
Putting the 28th instead of the 29th.
Right. That's a clerical error. Yes.
That would be a clerical error. But turning the 29th into the 5th, I think my ass about covers it.
I just don't understand. You freaked me out. You started making me think like I need to look and figure out where I screwed up a date on. It was going through my mind. The clerical error was that they took a picture and published it. Yeah. Well, oh yeah, I'm real weird about the whole idea of fixing it, of getting a fixed copy. I am going to get a fixed copy. So, and I'm going to, well, I was going to tell you, no. So that's what I think the next move will be. Since it still exists under the appropriate Indiana code, he can be appointed for the duration of Dan's term. He just, let me see. I want to make sure what I'm seeing here. Yeah. I just don't know. You know, I wrote when I was writing this and I was posting on others, you know, I posted and said, you know, I still can't get over it. Let me pull this up. I said the really oddball thing is that no one's talking about the fact that this was apparently sworn in on Tuesday, the 5th of May. Whatever the deal is there. The problem is clerical error, whatever. It's just always there's a question. That's what we get with Ridenour. We just always get a question. And everyone's going to be like, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Listen to me, folks. You have an elected mayor appointing some guy that he thinks is a genius, and he's telling us like, oh, this guy's a genius. He can do anything. He can do anything. He can do anything. And we're putting him in as acting mayor because now he's been appointed as deputy mayor. So you mean these two guys can't catch the fact that the paper says the 5th instead of the 29th? That doesn't leave me with a lot of confidence. And here's the thing. When you have documents like this, and documents have to be file stamped and taken to the clerk for record keeping, and files have to go to the court and things like that, dates and times and spaces and spelling matters. There used to be a judge in Indiana who I could be going to him for a search warrant on a murder A little girl could be kidnapped and we could be going for a search warrant to save her. And if we had a spelling error, he'd send our ass back across the street to the prosecutor's office and make us retype it. Nope, you put in an extra space after the period. You got to go back and redo it. You know why? Because making sure that shit's done right is how you don't, as a SWAT team, bust in the door down the street from the place you were going and kill those people in the middle of the night because they think they're being broken into and they wake up with a gun in their hand and you and your buddies blow them away. When shit is done right, that stops those things from happening. And I know that Dan going out for cancer treatment and Jeff Green or Jeff Howe or Amber Green or Colonel Mustard is being named deputy mayor and acting mayor isn't the same thing as a little girl being kidnapped and shooting people. But damn it, things should still be done appropriately and right, the right way. And it's just always having questions about things gets damn tiring. I almost believe they're doing it on purpose at this point. How could you screw so much of this shit up like this always? I see it more as a move of desperation than rather a planned, calculated move. That's possible too. Yeah, Bocephus, I don't hold any hope out for Jeff Howe. Knowledge is power. Wayne Scaife. This is a good question. So are you saying that they backdated the appointment to May 5th and it really just happened recently? I'm saying what I believe happened. I fully believe with every being of my body that they appointed him today. They scrambled and appointed him today. I do believe that. I do believe it. Now, as to why they did what they did with this document, I have no clue why they did that. Now, I will tell you, I think it's fishy as hell. And I absolutely think, and I absolutely could see that maybe they did it because in Dan's mind, or maybe in legal's mind, or I don't know. I don't know whose mind. Maybe they didn't think that it looked good appointing him to be the deputy mayor the same day that they then were going to name him to be acting mayor. Maybe they thought it just didn't look good. Maybe they thought if Kristopher Bilbrey or somebody came up to get these documents, they would be like, oh, see, they did this. No, my thing is, the minute I saw this, I was like, wait a minute. Why does that say May 5th? I immediately had an issue with that. I immediately started trying to get a hold of these idiots and find out why the hell this said what it said. Now, I want to show you guys something. So here it is, as close as I can get it on the screen there. From their picture. I'm going to show you this and see if we can't maybe see something different. Let's see. See what we can see here. Okay. Now, it's too pixelated. Just can't see it. I think that's the 5th. I think it's the same document. So what's funny about this document that Dan is holding, it's this document here. And you can see that these lines are, the lines down here are empty. You can see up here where it says mayor. Right there, you can clearly see where that says mayor. And you can see the girly version of Dan's name. And you can see the bubbly version of Jeff's name, which you can see Jeff's bubbly name and Ridenour's bubbly name. And then there's signatures. You can also see Delaware County and City of Muncie. So the only thing that's missing on this paper is the signature of Jeff Howe and the signature of Dan. So somebody filled this out and brought this up to him. But why would they have filled it out on May 5th? That makes, maybe they just had this ready for May 5th. My question is, who were they going to swear in on May 5th as deputy mayor? Why would they have had this ready? I don't know. I don't know. I just think this is why you don't do shit like this. Don't do shit that's questionable. And you won't get people asking questions like this. And they don't care. They don't care if I'm asking questions. They don't care if it doesn't look good. They don't care. They just don't give a shit about any of this. What was the weather on May 5th? It was a rainy day. And I know that because Tuesday, May 5th was election day. Yeah, they didn't realize it was freaking election day. That kills me. If they were at Town Hall, City Hall on the 5th, there would be footage of them through security. Absolutely. But I can tell you they weren't there. They weren't there. It was election day. They just weren't there. And I don't know why this happened. And I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And I'm in a really bad mood because the only person worse than Dan Ridenour being mayor is Jeff Howe being mayor. The only thing worse than Dan Ridenour being mayor of Muncie is Jeff Howe being acting mayor of Muncie in a Ridenour administration. And the council meeting is going to be a cluster. Hey, do you like my do you like the green lantern, the Dustin thing back here and this little light thing that I've got? That looks nice, doesn't it? And you see I finally got the lava lamp working. It wasn't not working. I just didn't have it plugged in. Now I have it plugged in and it matches with the blue so good. So look at there. And I found my investigator, my investigator star. I had hung up by the police patch. That's just a sewn on police patch, but there's the Delaware County Sheriff or Delaware County Prosecutor's Investigator star I found. Wow, while moving. So I put that up too. There that is. Okay, let's see here. I think they planned to backdate it for the record and got caught. They care a little bit because we got Jeff number 2. That is true. Dan expected Green to be acting mayor and also vote on shit until people started asking questions. So he realized people were paying attention and it wouldn't be legal for Green to do both. But he needed Green's vote on the fire department thing. So he had to step back and punt. Dan expected Green to be, oh, yeah, that's the same thing. You mean more clutter? I'm waiting for the leg lamp. Yes, the leg lamp is coming. And I've got a spot for it. I have a spot for it, by the way. Let me think about that before we go. I want to write this down here before we go. I want to get an understanding. So Jeff Green, R. Nora Powell, D. Brandon Garrett, trans, Republican. 1, 2, 3. Sarah Gullion, D. Whoops, what happened there? Yes, knowledge is probably, yeah, I think Kate is 100% right there. Jerry Dishman, trans Republican. 6 is Harold Mason, Democrat. Rose Selvey, R. And at large, 3 is William McIntosh, D. Okay. So, if you take Jeff Green out of the picture, you have 1 Democrat, 2 Democrat, 3 Democrat, 4 Democrat, 1 fake Republican, 2 fake Republicans, 1 Republican. Wait a minute. Yeah. So then that would basically leave you with 4 and 4. And on resolution 8, Rose Selvey's saying she agrees with it. I talked to her.
Without Jeff there, the council's 4-4.
What? Yeah, it would be 4-4. I was just saying it. So I've already talked to Roe, and I know that Roe's planning on what?
I'm thinking about the fire department.
So I was going to go. Yeah, I was going. So Roe's planning on voting in favor of Resolution 8. So that'll be 5-4. If she votes yes without anybody else voting yes, okay. Then so 9-26 and 10-26 and 11-26. Those are the biggies. 12-26 doesn't matter. So 9, 10, and 11. I don't know how they're going to fall, but I could see it being very questionable. I believe Garrett will vote his conscience with the Democrats. I hope there's been a lot of things that he and Jerry have really disappointed me on here lately, and they haven't. They've really jumped over and done a bunch of Republican crap, but I hope that they're starting to do the right thing. And I've heard that Jerry's not running again, so it doesn't matter for him. But I wonder if Brandon has realized that he shit the bed. It would have been one thing. It would have been okay for him to be like, look, I don't like where the Democrat Party is going, but I'm still a Democrat. But what he did, jumping parties, now he's in a world. Now he don't know. He's a stranger in a strange land. He is a man without a home. I don't know. So I wanted to bring this to you. I wanted you guys to be able to get this information. I told Kate I wasn't going to do a show tonight. She's been gone most of it, just jumped on. I appreciate that she did. Definitely a big happy birthday to Niles. And is he there with you or is he laying down? Okay. The people watching know why I ask. I'm sure you do too. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. That's the show. There, we've done 2 hours and 10 minutes. I didn't even plan to do any, but I knew that this was just too big. I had to talk about it. I don't know what the plan is. We just are going to have to keep digging. It's all, I will do that. Hey, we weren't going to have a show, but I said unless something crazy popped off, and this is about the craziest thing that I could imagine. I had no way, never in a million years would I have believed that they would have done this. They're so crazy. How many times has Ridenour said one thing and then done another thing? It's so crazy to me. That's like his legacy, and that's not a good legacy to leave. Every time. Every time. It's ridiculous. All right, folks. Yeah, wait, hold on. I want to hear what Alva said. My phone call was to say it to me, Alva. Tell me. Tell it. Well, we got to wait for Alva now. Oh, God. You know what? I wish, because of where I was at and what I was doing, I wish I would have opened it and put you on speakerphone. If I would have known that that's what you were going to say, like not even hello, if I would have just answered and said hello and you'd have said, well, I guess we're having a show tonight, I would have opened it and put you on speakerphone and let the people hear that. That would have been hilarious. Oh, God. All right. See you guys Sunday night. Wayne, I will be at the meeting at 6:45 or a little early. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. Wayne, you can tune in Sunday if you don't have anything better to do. I don't know what we'll be talking about. I'm sure it'll be Muncie City Council related. All right, until Sunday, you guys have a good weekend. No show tomorrow. It's the weekend, so they can't screw anything up. So, there is no show tomorrow. We will see you Sunday. Take care. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.